Well, it's main event time. Installment NGW's open door policy returns to your screens because the man that we are looking at right there is considered by many one of the most promising up-and-coming young prospects on the UK scene today. It's Bristol's Charlie Garrett, and this guy is in incredible shape, and boy, can he fly. Not only can he fly, but he's a very, very strong young man, and he's in there, strength up, because it's the former NGW undisputed heavyweight champion, in fact the man ever undisputed champion, that controls unstoppable monster Rampage Brown. These two bulls lock up, and it's very rare that you see a lockup that looks even, and Rampage Brown, interestingly, decided to take that into a side headlock there on Garrett. Did he feel that maybe he was losing out on that? We will never know. But Rampage now, whipped off into the ropes. Oh, look at close was that shoulder tackle. And that Rampage Brown will finally get an opportunity to challenge for the NGW title again if he can win a 4 competitors in that tournament, being Zach Gibson against the one and only Zack Sabre Jr. Well, it's also now been confirmed that the other half of that 4-man knockout tournament will be Bristol. Richie West and Rampage Brown are using another Bristol native as a warm-up for Justin Sizem. But I guarantee this will not be a walk in the park, because if they've not studied Charlie Garrett, it would be a bad move if they hadn't, but if they have studied him, they will know that this guy has got some incredible potential. I'm sure you'll see what I mean as this one speeds up now. Rampage hits the ropes and a second big shoulder block there into a tight headlock, and it looks like Rampage is trying to school and grind down Charlie Garrett. Garrett only been wrestling less than 5 years, but already capturing the attention of many people on the scene. When you see somebody who's the same size as Rampage Brown, if not a little taller, equally muscular, the last thing you expect to see him do is some of the moves that he is capable of doing, a bit like Justin Sizem. These two are almost X-Men in their jumping and physical appearance abilities. Don't know if that sentence made any sense, but it's inconsequential now as Garrett, big leapfrog, and look at that, onto his feet, and that's exactly what I mean by Bristol's Charlie Garrett, who comes back with a clothesline of his own that floors Rampage Brown, and Garrett staying on top of Rampage into the corner, reversal there by Rampage Brown, who charges into a big boot by Garrett off the rope. Look at, oh my God, he literally nipped off his head, and a drop kick. God, how fast is Charlie Garrett? I mean, we saw 2 standouts of the Gen X League earlier on, Rampage Brown, El Ligero, but you do not expect to see heavyweight competitors like Charlie Garrett moving that fast. That's why NGW's open door policy is so good, because it allows you to see the best wrestlers in the United Kingdom, whether they're contracted to NGW or not. And Garrett, oh my God, look at that standing moonsault. Oh, 2 and what, just a 2, but that was out of nowhere. We need a replay of that. That was so fast and so picture perfect. Yeah, there you see it again. Tucks the knees in. God, if they thought this was going to be a walk in the park, they have got it all wrong. We're going to have to take a very, very short commercial break. But our big main event continues when we return. Do not go anywhere, because British Wrestling Weekly will be right. Bristol's Charlie Garrett as part of NGW's open door policy, and during the commercial break you see Garrett there hitting that incredible dive over the top rope, landing on his feet, but the inexperience of Garrett came into play because he took too long to get back in the ring, and he was knocked face first onto those steel guardrails, and the count is on. The referee now, yeah, very, very close to a 10. Garrett back in the ring there. Look at Rampage Brown. The controls unstoppable monster trying to hit the best he can, but Garrett there covering his head. It's a smart move there, and it led to Rampage Brown going for the throat. The referee getting in there as he should. And as I mentioned earlier, Rampage Brown has a huge, huge match ahead of him, which we will see in the coming weeks on this show, as he takes part in NGW's 4-man knockout tournament to find a new #1 contender, and his opponent will be Bristol's Justin the Hammer Sizem. So you can imagine that being in there with Bristol's Charlie Garrett is almost like a warm-up for Rampage Brown. But as we saw before the break, if you think Charlie Garrett is someone that you can write out. If you think he's someone that's not going to bring the fight to Rampage Brown, then you are surely mistaken, because this young man has the attention and the imagination of the UK wrestling scene alike, because for a man so big, he can fly. We saw some of it before the commercial break, and hopefully we'll see some of it again. But it's not just Rampage Brown that Garrett's in there against. It's, of course, the head of the control. You see him there at ringside, Richie West. And if we know anything about Richie West, is that he will do everything in his power to break the rules. I mentioned earlier that Chardonnay was banned from ringside because of her interference, banned from the Gen X finals because of his striking an official recently in a match. But yet, you see, well, look at that, short clothesline. Yet you see Richie West remain at ringside because he has literally used the fact that he manages 4 men, and he has used that as leverage to blackmail. I mean, not directly, but to essentially say that his wrestlers would maybe not want to be in an NGW ring if he wasn't with them at ringside. It's essentially blackmail. So Richie West remains at ringside despite everything we've seen on previous episodes of this program. And every time he's there at ringside, that ominous figure in the dark suit makes his presence felt. And Charlie Garrett has got to be aware of that, as does this crowd here in Keighley. Also, some big news. We are going to have the first ever NGW Awards for the last 12 months. That will be coming up very shortly here on British Wrestling Weekly. Wrestler of the Year, Match of the Year, Newcomer of the Year. Has your favourite one? Find out very shortly in an episode of British Wrestling Weekly just around the corner as Rampage Brown sends Garrett in and a big knee. Garrett tried his best, but when you're in there with someone as big, as strong, as mean, as tough and as experienced as Rampage Brown, it's only a matter of time before you feel the pain, and pain now. NGW's open door policy allows the best wrestlers from around the UK to have the opportunity to appear on NGW British Wrestling Weekly television, but the price that Garrett is paying for that exposure is the fact that Rampage Brown looks like he is prepared to literally rip the head off of his opponent. Of course, Rampage Brown, his 2 finishing moves are that Rampage drop, the Samoan drop, and of course the pile driver. It needs no other name. It's a name of a move that is so synonymous in pro wrestling for being dangerous. In fact, if you made a list of the wrestling moves that have done the most long-term damage to wrestlers' careers, including people like Stone Cold Steve Austin, then the pile driver is at the top of that list. The opportunity, and Richie West has anything to do with it, that pile driver will be used to make a statement to another Bristol native, Justin the Hammer Sizem. This crowd getting behind Garrett, as they should, because this young man, whoa, look at that. But he literally used every last reserve that he had, and look at him clutching at the throat there, because he was choked for life in that chin lock, and Garrett looks out of it. He really does look out of it. And this crowd certainly monster stalking the Bristol native, and he comes in and Garrett blocks. Big forearm. But he spent too long looking at that crowd or trying to gain his reserve, whatever it was, and now that's more like it, bringing the fight to Rampage Brown. And that's what you've got to do when you're in there. You've almost got to pretend that this crowd doesn't exist, because Rampage Brown, for the first time in this contest, is on the losing end of this confrontation. Garrett hits the corner hard, Rampage charges, and here's the corner, and Garrett quickly to the top. What's he going for here? And crossbody, big crossbody, ref down 2, and whoa, just a 2, just the 2. And when a man the size of Charlie Garrett flies at you, you've got to believe that has gonna leave a mark. And his kick is Garrett. And he may be making a bad move there. He goes for it, and he telegraphed it to Brown, Brown's going for the pole driver. He hits this, it's got to be all. Garrett comes out of it. Fast he hit, and the super kick. He hits that super kick on Rampage Brown. Garrett's I've heard he does a spiral tap. If you don't know what that is, If he hits what I think he's going for, that corkscrew from the top, whoa, whoa, oh my God, he hits it. He's just hit on Rampage Brown. If he can make the cover, this has got to be all. He's crawling. Ref in position. 2 and 3. Oh, Richie West. And this crowd here in Keighley ready to jump Richie West. The ref didn't see it, and that's exactly what I mean. I would blame no one. And Charlie Garrett, yeah, keep your eye on Rampage Brown, Charlie, because, yeah, Rick, I'm managing more than commentating, but as a former British heavyweight champion, I can smell what's coming, because Garrett here letting this crowd dictate the pace of this match, and bad mistake. It was oh no, he's going to hit that pole driver. That was, he landed. Yeah, that's all. Rampage Brown just hit possibly the most vicious pole driver I've ever seen.
The winner of the match, Rampage Brown.
But there was extra spite and extra venom in that one, because Charlie Garrett's head was literally drip and steel covered in canvas that we call an NGW ring. And we're gonna just look at this replay. He hits that spiral tap there, but you watch back on this replay of this pile drive and you see exactly what I mean. Look at the way he lands. That is just brutal. But the fact remains that Rampage Brown and Richie West just incise them with a big win and slam